Hey everybody, welcome to Another Bourbon Show. Exciting night tonight. We have got one of the admins from the St. Louis Bourbon Society with us here, Mr. JT Eakin. Give a big round of applause for JT. Slumming it.
We probably should have talked about before, but it's JT Eakin.
Eakin.
We're off to a good start.
I'm sorry about that.
Just falling out of the gate.
If you would learn how to spell your own last name,
yeah,
JT,
I know.
We would be solid here.
The weird Scottish spelling. Yeah.
No, I swear to God, I thought it was Eakin this whole time, but it's Eakin.
Yep.
All right, well, fuck it. Now you see why we don't get any quality guests, because the one time we get a good one, I ruin it.
Yeah.
I ruin it right out of the gate.
JT, no relation to Clay Aiken.
No, well, I mean, probably distantly. We all migrate. It's all from Scotland, so, but yeah. No Clay Aiken, no Troy Aitman. No.
Oh, man.
I think there's a guy on the Anaheim Ducks. I don't know if it's spelled the same last name as yours, but dude with a beard out to like here.
Oh, yeah.
I forget the dude's name.
Was it Dallas Eakins or something like that?
I think he used to be on Dallas too.
Oh, okay.
Which is why you're, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm conflating. I thought his name was
Corey,
Dallas.
maybe Corey Eakin.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I will say that JT looks like the guy that could grow a beard out to here. Like have you ever tried to grow like a big old bushy fucking beard?
Yeah, so I used to play banjo, and I had the beard was down here during the banjo days.
Okay.
And then I put it down about 5 years ago and forgot everything I'd ever learned.
Okay.
And the beard went with it.
And the beard went with it. Now I got my business casual beard. So.
Not your banjo beard, your business cash.
Yeah.
So tonight with JT, we're going to be drinking this guy right here. Weller Antique 107 OWA. I mean, what this has got, JT, this has got to be one of the like most sought after bourbons people like just lust over within St. Louis Bourbon Society, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a common thing on the page of people asking where to find it. Yep.
Yeah, between this, Blanton's, like it seems like there's more brag posts about people finding this than even Blanton's.
Yeah.
To me at least.
Oh, that's definitely true. Yep.
Yeah. Ryan, how much do any of your stores carry this at all?
No. I believe one of my accounts that I won't name has carried Special Reserve.
Yeah.
But I think it was just something like a one-off case that they got.
Okay.
At some point, which is usually the case. But a lot of my stores get, the 10 and 12 year Rip Van Winkle and then Blanton's, and that's pretty much the extent of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Besides, some birthday bourbon came out this year to a few of my stores.
Wow.
And then the 150th anniversary
bottle. You got some of that? Old Forester 150?
No.
Oh. No. Your stores, I mean. Your stores.
Oh, yeah.
God forbid. Jesus.
Yeah. Not me, though.
So, JT, you'll appreciate this. There was a guy, I'm sure you saw it, actually, because it was in St. Louis Bourbon Society. Somebody posted that they ended up buying 3 bottles of the Old Forester 150 on the Illinois side over here.
Yeah.
At Mirage.
Yeah.
No, not Mirage. Fairview Liquors.
Yep.
And like he paid like $10 over SRP. He paid 160 and like SRP is 150. And the reason this is a big deal, Ryan, Steven, and listeners, is that liquor store, like I always talk about how Savon can eat my whole ass. Like this, like that store is like just as bad at ripping people off. And so it's like shocking that they barely marked up their like very, very hard to find Old Forester 150.
I like that little shop because they will rip you off on everything you see behind me.
Yeah.
But I got all my Wild Turkey Master's Keep. I got my Rhetorics there for MSRP or even a little under. It's like what they see is hot and sought after, they jack up. But if they don't know what it is, or I mean, they still have Wild Turkey Master Keep sitting on the shelf there from last year. And so it's hard to, I mean, don't go there. If you hate it, don't go in there. I'll go in there.
No, so I will say one thing about them. The first time I ever went in there, I was like, holy cow, like this might be a little treasure that I just found here, because they had Yellowstone for like $36 a bottle, which is like $5 under like SRP. They had all sorts of like really, I mean,
the Michter's American was like $38 there,
exactly,
which is $5 under. Yeah.
Like there's lots of bottles on their shelf that are solid bottles that they could legitimately be charging like $7 to $10 more for, and nobody would bat an eye because it's still a great price. But then behind the counter, they got Weller 12 for $400. They've got this for $120. They've got like, and that's where it gets. Now they did have some George T. Stagg 2019, but that was $400 also. And to me, that's too much for 2019. I'd pay it for 2018 probably, but not 2019. But anyway, so back to Weller 107. This is a Buffalo Trace product, Sazerac product. This is the first bourbon that we're going to be drinking that is a wheated bourbon. Now, what a wheated bourbon is it does not have rye in it. So it's bourbon, so it's at least 51 or 50% corn. And then instead of rye, which is usual, it uses wheat and then malted barley. We don't know the exact mash bill of it, but rumor has it that it's about 10% wheat, 10% barley, 80% corn. But JT, you know Freddie Johnson and the Buffalo Trace guys.
Yeah, well, he's not spilling any of the mash bill beans.
Okay.
He's not giving any industry secrets to us.
All right, but am I too far off from what you understand the mash bill is?
I had heard 65-20-15.
Oh,
which
really?
is the same as Makers, because it all came from the Stitzel Weller recipes. But that's all what you read on the internet too. So
wow. I thought all they did was just replace the
rye with corn, or the rye with wheat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly all that Stitzel Weller, the Rebel Yell, the Larceny, the Old Fitz were all supposed to be 65-20.
No shit.
Recipes.
Okay.
But
okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Over the time.
If anybody's gonna know better than me on this show, it's you. That's for sure. So but so in any case, there is no age statement on it. So we don't know how long it's been aged. Doesn't matter, because this is good shit. This is really good shit. But before we get into that, Steven, what do you think of that label?
I think that the Weller labels are one of the best out there. I think that it hits on all the notes I've talked about before, right? Where it's a simple label, it's iconic, it's unique. You can tell exactly, not only that it's a Weller product, but you can tell exactly which Weller product it is from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
I love the little W. I love that it has its own little script. I think it's all very legible, all good, all cleanly designed. I'm giving this guy a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Highest rating so far on the labels.
Like far and away the best label.
It's phenomenal.
Better
than someone's in a good mood.
Yeah. Jesus, that's great, man. I love that. I love it. I did not expect you to like it as much as you do, but I'm glad that you do.
So my two highest labels so far, Wild Turkey 101 and Weller 107.
Yeah. Wow.
I like those high proof labels.
And the W's. You like the W's. You know, one thing that I like a lot about this bottle? Twist top. I love twist tops.
So does this one rate lower?
Yep. It does.
Because it's got the cork.
I know.
I got the cork too.
I know.
There's a twister in here too. Yeah.
Are the cork ones newer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They switched to cork.
Right,
did they switch to cork on the 12?
No.
Okay. So here's my thing. I will always prefer a twist top. I know that the cork is fancier. However, Ryan's heard this a million times before, but I'm going to tell this story again. Buddy of mine bought a bottle. He found himself a bottle of E.H. Taylor single barrel. He took it home. He had a pour. The next day, he had one pour out of his bottle of E.H. Taylor single barrel. The next day, he's going on over to a buddy's house. Takes the bottle, lays it on the floorboard of his car. He drives. He's got to stop by the gas station. It's middle of summer. It pushed the cork out of his bottle while it was laying on its side.
It's funny. I have a bottle of wine here. I'll show you too, because I left a bottle of wine in the.
Yeah, he was left with like that much of his E.H. Taylor single barrel, and of course his car stunk of bourbon horribly, like just nastiness. As much as we love drinking bourbon, it does not have a pleasant smell when it's soaked into your floorboards, all because of a cork. If it would have been twist tie, no problems, none whatsoever. And that's just one of the reasons why I prefer a twist top. I don't care how fancy it looks. It's more purposeful.
That you could store them sideways too.
Exactly.
Yep. Store 40 or 50 that you went to Ohio and grabbed.
Ryan, I never saw that bottle of wine.
Yeah, this is because you had brought that up, and I was like, shit, I got a case of wine in my car.
Yeah.
And it's like 105 out. So I like ran outside, and it was like
caught it in time.
Yeah, thank God, because if I didn't, it would have been, red wine everywhere.
Yeah, that wouldn't have
been. I killed someone in my back seat. That would.
One of my friends go ahead.
No,
one of my friends is a distributor here in St. Louis, and he had some Michters that he was driving out to accounts, and those things are only held in by a paper strip. There's no like plastic capsule or foil capsule, and that happened in summer. It tore the paper and erupted in his car.
Yeah. So what do you say? Do we want to give this one a sip?
Let's do it.
Oh.
Cheers.
All right. Steven, have you ever had this one?
I've never had any Weller, actually.
Okay.
Oh. Popping your cherry.
Speaking of cherry, I always get a lot of cherry out of Weller 107. That's just me, though. I just love this stuff. Love the whole Weller line.
It's a great bourbon.
Good stuff.
We were drinking in Edwardsville a couple months ago, and didn't they have Weller 12 year for like $12 a shot or something?
I think it was $11.
Was it 11?
I think it was 11 for 2 ounce, and that was for 2 ounce pours.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it's a brewery. Why am I blanking?
Recess Brewery. Yeah, they got 107. They
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got really shitty drunk the night before. I was shocked that none of us got COVID. Like because we went over to, I don't know, we went over to Alton after
line dancing or whatever we were doing out there, whatever they do out there.
Oh, I wasn't line dancing. I remember punching a buoy.
Frankly, it just shows how poor our testing is that you guys weren't positive.
Well, some people are also passing around cigarettes and joints.
Well, that was what killed me. So I'm not gonna say who, but one of the people we were with, he we're in an inside outside place, right? Like it's like 3 walls around us, but the end is open. And one of the guys that we were with, he lights up a joint. Not that he was the only one that had a joint out there. Like you could smell other tables had joints too. But somebody within our group lights up a joint, and here's what kills me. He passes it to me under the table. Like he sneaks it under the table. And I'm like, we're in a bar that is like state ordered that it's supposed to be closed. There's weed all around us, and you pass it to me under the table? What the? Don't try to make this sneaky. By the way, we're in Illinois where it's legal. Yeah, you're not supposed to do it in public, but still, like, anyway. So, Steven, what do you think of Weller 107?
Well, as you probably could have guessed, my initial impression is very positive. It's got a great flavor to it. I love the finish to it as well, because I think the finish is just more of the good, same taste basically that you're getting. And I love it hangs around so long. A lot of cherry note. I think also, now I don't think I've had a ton of wheated whiskeys, but I think that there's some sort of quality to the end of it that almost reminds me of like a cracker or something like that, which I guess makes sense. Like there's some sort of like almost like a slight saltiness or something. But I think it's a really pleasant finish because it's a little more salt, whereas with some whiskeys I get more pepper.
Yeah.
So just like I feel like you can really tell the difference if you're looking for it.
Yeah. One of the things that I love so much about all weeded bourbons, and especially 107, is just how absolutely smooth it is. It is just so smooth, start to finish. This other whiskey group, Rusty Water, JT, are you familiar with them?
Oh yeah, I've seen them around.
Okay, yeah. So, couple weeks ago, it's a fun group. Just a lot of fun people in it. They started doing chug videos on Friday nights where you just take a big old chug straight out of the bottle.
Pretty much any night of the week, actually.
Oh, that's true.
They'll find a different reason.
That's true. But yeah, I did a big old chug, a Weller Foolproof the first night, and I was actually shocked that doing a big chug, and I mean, I'd probably down 4 ounces in that chug.
You probably drank more than a lot of them do from the bottle.
Probably. Yeah, probably. And but I was just astounded by how smooth it was. And that was Foolproof, which is
7 proof points higher.
Yeah, I thought it was 114. Yeah. And just super smooth, had no kick to it whatsoever. This past week, like a big dummy, I decided to take a chug out of Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered, which I love to sip on, but I chugged it and I was just like, oh man, that was a mistake. JT, let's get back to 107. What notes do you pick up? What do you love about it?
Yeah, Stephen was saying kind of get a bread note, cracker note at the end, and I was going to one up that with the shortbread. I totally see that kind of pastry, kind of sweet bakery, baking spices all the way through.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. Good call.
And it is very, very good.
Yeah. Ryan? Thoughts?
Cherry, vanilla, and caramel. Real sweet. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I get off the bat. I mean, I've had this. I love Weller. So as you saw that night in Edwardsville.
Yeah.
So the line is great, all of them. I could just drink it all day.
JT, there's a very specific question I've got for you about 107. I've read on the Bourbon Society that you have a recipe for Poor Man's Pappy. And I know that it's a combination of 107 and Green Label.
No, it's actually 107 and 12 year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was...
It's even less Poor Man. I think there's some variations that are bringing in the Green Label to kind of bring it back to Poor Man's.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the 60% of Weller Antique 107 and 40% Weller 12. So... And I got my Rodney Dangerfield label here when I make it. And so I find it better, I find it better than either Weller 12 or 107 when they're blended.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you age them in a barrel at all, or?
No, but you got to let it sit in the bottle. It takes time for those two different bourbons to come together and become one, at least a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
I usually 2 to 3 weeks is a good sweet spot. Taste it right away. It's just unnatural and spiky with the flavors, but after a few weeks they come together.
Okay. Have you ever considered putting them into an aging barrel and seeing if that helps or hurts?
The raw ingredients are too expensive to risk it for me. So if someone had a line on some cheaper source material, then I think that would be fun to try. Letting a barrel bring them together, but Yeah, it's so good just in the bottle.
So, for the listeners, in case you're like not a major bourbon drinker, what we're talking about is poor man's Pappy, as in Pappy Van Winkle, like the end all be all of what every major bourbon drinker lusts after, basically. They're getting ready to come out. Well, by the time you're listening to this, they're already out for 2020. And unless you know today on November 23rd where you're going to get it, you're not going to get it, or you're going to pay $1,500 for a bottle of it. But yeah, it's the same mash bill that's for this and the full proof and 12 and special reserve and single barrel. It's all the same mash bill. But the ones that get picked out to be Pappy's bottles are special. They're very, very special barrels. So I wanted to bring that up. JT, I've got a couple questions about St. Louis Bourbon Society, if you don't mind me asking.
Great. Yeah, let's hear them.
All right. Here's the big one. I told you earlier. I've got one that I know you're going to try to avoid, but I'm going to hold you to this. I want to get the answer for this one. All right. So which member of St. Louis Bourbon Society, if you were given the chance and there were no repercussions, which one would you punch in the face? Is it Zohan?
Member. Yeah, I'm going to try to not answer that. Let me see if I have any easy ones.
What about Zohan? You know who I'm talking. When I say Zohan, do you know who I'm talking about?
Don't mess with the Zohan? What? No.
Adam Sandler?
Yeah. I remember that movie.
Okay.
The hairdresser spy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
L'chaim.
Man.
And you know what that references?
I don't remember.
The member that references?
No. Oh, no, wait. No, I do. Yeah, you're about to say his name. No, I wouldn't. Because if we got to the point where that's on the table, I think there's about a line of 20 or 25 people that I'm behind that want to punch him first. So, no, yeah. So, we have a lot of personalities, a lot of big personalities on the Bourbon Society page. And, when you get a lot of members, there are certain people that come to the top, and like how often they post and comment, and they want their opinions heard, and they want to be seen, and they want attention, and good or bad, those people rise up. And so, yeah, definitely, a few names came to mind, but
mine probably at one point.
Yeah, maybe, who knows? But no, I think everyone provides something good to the page overall, and if they don't, we work them out. And but yeah, so that member's actually been pretty silent lately, which is weird for release season. There should be a lot of showboating pretty soon, so we'll see. But they've been quiet for a minute, so I'm actually happy.
Yeah.
The guy's just kind of a dickhead or something.
Yeah. So it's everyone's got their point of view on the allocated bourbon game, right? There's people that'll never pay a cent over MSRP. We got a couple of members that will vocally post that every time the discussion ever comes up. There's people that
one of the guys who does that. One of the guys who does that. I met him in person.
Yep.
For the first time. We're talking about. You can blank it or blur this out if you want to, Stephen. But he and I I liked him just from St. Louis Bourbon Society, and then we met up at Old Herald. And in person, I was just like, holy shit, I like you even more. Right. Like,
yeah, he's a great guy, very knowledgeable, and it's commendable the line he takes, and he ends up with great bottles and then never has to chase them or pay extra for them. So it works out for him, if you can make that work for you. And yeah, we love him. He's really good. But until you meet him, you see his post on there and it's like, shut up, guy. And that's what that picked up on too. So, then you have this other guy, who will pay top dollar for everything, and who knows? I don't know. I'm not sure how you could afford to keep buying full secondary price for every single bottle and post the bottles you have. But he plays like that's the poor people's game. What you guys are doing, you just spend the money, go out, get it, get money, you know. And it's like, okay, well, there's a happy medium in between where,
right,
if I want something bad enough, I'll skip buying for a few weeks and let the budget build up, and then I'll go out and get myself something nice. Or, you know, just like everyone else, I make relationships with my local store and tell them what I'm interested in, and they look out for me because I look out for them. So, you know, there's a medium level where you can pay a little bit over retail, and you can also not get raked over the coals.
Yep.
Brag about it.
Oh,
don't mess with the Zohan, man. When that movie came out, I was working for a sheltered workshop, you know, where they assist mentally handicapped individuals. And this job I was doing in college was called community integration. And I would drive a 15-passenger van, and we would take these people to go see the movies or out to dinner, or, you know, take them to arts or baseball games, stuff like that. And we would go and see pretty much any PG-13 or below movie. And we got in there with Don't Mess with the Zohan. And man, it was a tough time because that is a very explicit, and there's a lot of themes, a lot of adult themes there. And these residents, we had to get them home quick because they were getting raunchy in the theater. It was the hardest day of work I had.
I also saw You Don't Mess with Zohan in theaters. And I feel like most of the audience might have been people that you had with you that day because they were extremely loud, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And me and my friends were like, what is going on? Like, I've never left the movie early, but that was like as close as I've come. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I think we might have left early, and I might have missed the scene because, we were.
You know what movie I left early?
What's that?
Forrest Gump.
Oh.
Why?
I thought that movie was terrible. It was hot. It was long. Like this was summer in Texas. So like air conditioning, yeah, that's great. It's still fucking hot inside. And after like an hour and 45 minutes, I was like, I'm done. I'm leaving. I don't care about this. I've watched it since then, and it's grown on me a little bit, but still not 2.5 hours worth or whatever it is. Hey, one thing we didn't do earlier when we were talking about Weller 107, we didn't talk about where we acquired it and how much we paid for it. And I want to make sure to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start off. So you guys, if you're regular listeners, you hear me talk about the Glen Carbon, Maryville, Lebanon stores a lot. And you know that I have a good relationship with the owner. But here's the reason why I love that Maryville location the most. The Maryville location looks like a crap hole from the outside. It's a gas station. It's set off. It's not very nice, but you walk in and you're just like, holy crap, he's got bottles here. This bottle came from there. And this was not acquired through my connections with the owner. It was sitting on the shelf when I stopped in to get, I don't know, some gummy bears or some shit like that. It just happened to be sitting there. Anybody could have bought it for the price I paid for it, which was $60 even. And again, not because of a relationship with the owner. It was there for anybody who grabbed it. I just happened to walk in. I saw it. I figured, you know what? I can grab this now. I know if it's sitting on the shelf, Bobby's got more of it in the back, but that involves me asking for a favor. I don't want to ask for a favor if I don't need to. So let me just grab this one off the shelf. The next day, there was another bottle sitting there on the shelf too, again, for right at $60. That's the reason I love that store, even above Lebanon, even above the Glen Carbon BP gas station, because you don't just find a bottle like this sitting on the shelf at either of those other two locations, but he will just stick one up on the shelf in Maryville. So lo and behold, $60, the Maryville BP gas station. JT, what about you? Do you remember where you got yours?
Yeah, so this bottle actually came to me from my buddy Devin Richter.
Devin's a good dude.
Yeah, really good dude. He was doing some military training in like Toledo or Columbus, Central Ohio. And he was, hit us up, asked a few of us if we wanted one. He brought them back. No extra charge. He had $54 is after tax out there.
Perfect.
So really hooked up his buddies.
Yeah. Ohio, for the listeners, you've heard us now mention Ohio twice now. The reason why we mention Ohio is a liquor control state. So the state of Ohio controls what price liquor stores are able to purchase it for, to sell it for. So if you're in Ohio, definitely check out their website, LQ. Thank you. OHLQ.com. Pull it up. You can literally just do a search for Antique 107 or Weller 12 or whatever, and it'll tell you exactly what stores it's located at. It's not always 100% accurate, but it'll at least give you a heads up on a place to start looking for it. And then once you show up, if it's sitting there, you're going to pay exactly the SRP for it. So $56 for OWA, $24, I think, for Weller Green Label Special Reserve.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to find better prices. And Ohio is the closest place to Illinois for that to happen. Michigan, Pennsylvania, some other eastern states are like that as well. Iowa's technically a liquor control state, but it's not as friendly. They don't have a website like Ohio does. So thanks for bringing that up, JT.
Yep.
Ryan, do you remember where you got yours?
Yeah, you bought a couple bottles of these a few years ago, and this is one of them.
Oh,
I told my dad I wouldn't open the other one, and I just did. So.
Yeah, so
whatever you bought it for, whatever it was that we paid, I can't remember now.
That's been a long time. I don't remember either.
Yeah, it was from your favorite store, though, I think.
Yeah, the ones I constantly say they can eat my whole ass. And Steven, you acquired yours from me, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I didn't know if you found a bottle sitting on a shelf somewhere between now and then or whatever.
Nope, not a chance, baby. As with all the bourbons we drink, there's no chance.
That actually brings up something. So that brings up bourbon culture, right? Like, JT, I know a lot of guys that really love bourbon. I know a lot of people who really love bourbon, but man, do they hate bourbon culture.
Yeah.
Like the bragging, the showboating, the hoarding. Oh my God, the hoarding.
The shelves, the shelfie pictures, and
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I don't really mind the shelves so much. It's the like right there. I can see at most you've got you cannot possibly have more than 3 Weller 107s right there. Just the depth of the shelf.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got a case sitting on the floor. I don't know. But on that shelf, you can't have more than 3.
No.
What kills me is when people show multiple cases of Weller Full Proof that they just purchased from Illinois. That kills me.
That they harvested.
Yes. Oh,
and these all came from different this is a store pick too, so I'm just nursing the store pick. So it's not like I'm sitting on full bottles here. The only things not open here are these 2 blends that I just got. Everything else is almost empty.
Yeah. So is James the original founder?
Yeah. So we're talking about James Thomas. He'll tell you back in 2016, he was laying in bed, scrolled through Facebook, didn't see what he was looking for, and he created St. Louis Bourbon Society. And then shortly after, St. Louis Rum Society, which is out there with 9 members. But yeah, so he made that in 2016, kind of as I don't know, I'll start my own, and that kind of was like a passive interest for him for a few years. And then the beginning of 2019, he decided to really ramp it up when Andrew Chostner moved to St. Louis and reached out to him. So we kind of count James Thomas and Drew as our co-founders because they really, Drew's kind of motivation with James's idea kind of blew it up. And
Gotcha. Okay. Who's the coolest person you've met through St. Louis Bourbon Society?
Man, coolest. That's a hard, we got Freddie Johnson that we've met, virtually and in person when we went and picked our couple barrels over the summer. So that was really, he's a cool daddy-o, you know, in his language there. But that's, no, he signs all his emails, daddy-o and stuff. And he'll, on your birthday, he'll send you a happy birthday, big cat and stuff like that. So it's,
if you watch the Netflix special Neat, like he's got a story in that documentary that like it will bring you to tears. Like his story about the Pappy 20 or 23, I'm not sure which it was. Like, quick synopsis: he's having a drink with his dad, and I think his uncle maybe. There were three.
Yeah,
people
either
there.
his older brother or yeah.
There were three people there, and his dad had just acquired this bottle of Pappy's 20, which is a like secondary primary market. Ryan, that's what, a $300 bottle?
Right around there, probably a little bit under.
Secondary market, that's like a $4,000 bottle, probably, give or take. Guys, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong.
I never buy one, so
I would not pay that much either. Yeah. But so anyway, so Freddie goes, he pours a glass for himself, his dad, and whoever else was there, and he puts the topper back on, and he goes and sets it back on the shelf. And his dad says, "Why did you put that back on the shelf?" And Freddie says, "Dad, this is a really special bottle." And his dad says, "Son," or however he says it, "bourbon is meant to be shared. Put it back on the table." And I think like a month later, his dad died. And like that was the take home message of like, share your bourbon, drink it with your friends. If you drain a bottle, then you fucking drained a bottle. Who gives a shit? You'll find another one eventually. That's what's special about Freddie Johnson.
But if he died of alcohol poisoning, maybe he should have put the bottle back.
That's a fair point.
I think he had set it up where that wasn't the case, but yeah.
But you never know.
No. You know, when you finally get someone in person out from behind their computer screen and you share a drink with them, and COVID's really cramped my style because I like to take these bottles out and share them with people that haven't had them before, and I like to try things that I haven't had. So bottle shares and that type of thing has been a huge part of. And so instead of cool people, like some of the most generous people I've met have been on Bourbon Society. But there isn't a single name that stands out. James is one of the ones who will give you everything he's got. You hadn't tried this, here, let me pull this. You go over to his house and he's pulling stuff out of back rooms and cabinets and going to the basement and pulling out dusties and stuff. And until you tell him to quit, like, I'm not appreciating this anymore. You have to quit bringing cool stuff up. So he's a good one to, get talking about it and sharing.
How annoyed are you at people not knowing how to use the goddamn search function within St. Louis Bourbon Society?
I mean, honestly, it's not Reddit. It's not a personal blog. Like, no one has ever gotten used to it. Whenever I first became admin, I used to harp on that. Like, if you just search it, we had this post yesterday, or let me tag you in that same post where we answered all the questions. Right now, the volume on the feed is so much. If you search it, Facebook search algorithms are kind of nutty in the groups right now. So I was trying to find a post from 2 or 3 days ago for my, support local restaurants.
Yeah.
Charity drive I was trying to do. I was trying to find my own main post for that. And, so I searched support local and I searched restaurant and something else, like some keywords that I had in there, and it was pulling up like posts from 2018 as my top results. And I was like, okay, well, if I can't find my own post, then people aren't going to be able to find one, they're not going to be able to find where to get Blanton's on our page anyways, but I can't expect them to get a quality.
But that's a weekly thing.
Out of it. Yeah,
that's a weekly thing. Hey, I just joined the page. Anybody know where I can find Blanton's?
Oh yeah. And it's like, okay, welcome. Here you are.
That's your welcome post.
Yeah.
We get it.
Now, has it always been a Facebook group? Was that its inauguration, or has it gone through a few different permutations?
So it started out as Facebook, and until spring of 2019, we hadn't done anything in person. That's kind of like Drew and James's big thing was they got together, and Drew had moved from Michigan down here for work and said, "Do you guys ever meet, or is it just this group?" And then James was like, "I want to meet. I just haven't figured out how to do it." And then James and Drew figured it out, and they were doing a lot of in-person events last year, which is how I met up with them. I started seeing them, posting like they're having distilleries come in and do tastings, and I got tired of buying bottles just to try them for stuff that wasn't, on a bar back. So I started doing their distillery tastings and really liking what they put together. So yeah, it started out as just a Facebook group, and it's grown from there.
Well, Stephen, so let's put it this way. So there's the Facebook group is it 4,500 by now?
I think 4,750 around there.
4,750. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's also a Patreon group, and so like you've got the public Facebook portion, but then there's 3 different levels of Patreon, and I don't remember what are those 3 levels?
So we got a $5 STL tier. We have a single barrel $10 membership and a barrel proof $20 a month membership. And what those do is, one, our in-person tastings. We started this back in January, and our in-person tastings would sell out.
Impeccable timing, by the way.
Yeah, as soon as as soon as we would post an in-person tasting, it was sold out, because in person, our venues around town, we could get 30 or 40 people. And then you're just out. So one way was we wanted to be able to give access to the events that we have to the people that want them the most. So one way to do that is show your interest in that by joining our club. Other thing is we started doing barrel picks this year, and we've been in other groups. All the admins have been in part of other groups where the admins pick your barrel. You either like it or you don't. And so we thought it was really cool being able to pick a barrel, whether that be a cool trip to Kentucky or whether that's going into your liquor store's back office or a restaurant's back room and picking it there. And so we've been able to give almost all our Patreons access to help pick a barrel, if they were able to, come on out to St. Charles or wherever we've been doing them. And so
I've been offered to like participate in 3 of them, but I haven't been able to make any of them.
Yeah.
But just as an example, I forget which level I am. It's the $20 a month, but it's well worth it, right? Like, it's very, very well worth it in my personal opinion.
To the people who are interested in learning more and socializing, and there's other, we talked about some of the bourbon culture. If all you want out of bourbon is to show off, hey, look what I got, respond to my Facebook post, you're not the person that's going to be interested in the Patreon group, because whenever you join, you don't get handed your pappy. That's not what we're about. We're more about kind of learning together and exploring. And, I really like doing these talks with distillers and learning the craft and kind of learning the why behind the brands, and getting access to that was invaluable to me. So that's what we're trying to offer with the Patreon group.
So JT, what's your favorite distillery?
Man, that's a tough one. I really love Wild Turkey.
Nice.
Wild Turkey episode the other day.
Yeah.
Russell Reserve single barrel.
Oh, so
anytime I see a store pick of that, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Even if no one has notes or anything for me, I'm getting.
Did you get one of the A1 bottles?
I've got a couple of those. Those are really good. Really
Are
good.
They?
Yep.
Because I think he's still got a couple left, and I really want a couple of them.
You should get 1 or 2 or
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But so that's probably a Buffalo Trace, everyone likes that, but I think Wild Turkey, that's where I go.
Okay. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know where it's at, but we are still planning on giving away, not this one, because this one is partially drank, but a brand new version of this one with the plastic on top and everything. Remember, I don't remember when we're supposed to do the drawing, but in order to have the ability to win this bottle of Elijah Craig Small Batch, like and comment whichever is your favorite of our episodes. Like it, comment on it, and tell us why you like that episode so much.
And a small donation to our Dustin Diamond GoFundMe.
It gets you an extra ticket.
Hey, if you send him a picture of your own taint, then that will get you 2 extra tickets.
But you have to acquire the number on your own. This is all about building relationships.
Build a relationship. That's what we do here. And still no word on whether or not Steven Seagal will fight Ryan in his mom's front yard.
I mean, I think there's word. I think we have our word.
That is not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think.
That's unfortunate.
He comes at me. I got a box cutter. Boom. He's over.
If Steven Seagal did respond and then he was like, yeah, I'll totally fight Ryan in his mom's yard. And then he later finds out that Screech stood us up. He's going to be pissed that he went through with it. That's going to be such an indictment on him.
Okay, let's rate it. Steven, get us started.
8.7.
Damn.
One of my favorites so far. I think it's a fair score. I think it's a very solid score. I think it's a
good score, dude. Good score, dude.
Yeah, I think it's a really good bourbon. I think that it I really don't have any complaints about it, but I wouldn't put it in the hallowed grounds of my 9s or anything like that. I think it's very solid.
What's a 9 for you, Steven? Because this is 8.7 is your highest rating, bar none.
Yeah, I can only compare it to what I've had so far. And as I've said before, I would like to go back for the Smoke Wagon Small Batch, and I would like to give that a 9.1 probably. I would put that in my 9s because I liked it so much.
Yeah.
And I like this under that, so I'm just kind of giving some space there.
Okay.
But it definitely, I think, deserves its like high 8s.
Yeah.
But there's just something about it where like there's not all the notes that it hits are so good.
Yeah.
But there's something holding it back where it's like I don't think it's like overly complex. Like there's a lot going on. I felt like with the Smoke Wagon that propels it into another category for me. And so I give a little more room to any more complex bourbons I'll have in the future as well. I would not pay over $100 for this.
What would you pay?
I would pay probably $80 and feel a little ripped off for this. Okay. I think.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that to me that's understandable.
Yeah. I really like it, but that's a lot to pay. And I think that honestly, a lot of the same notes that I like in this, no joke, I could get out of Wild Turkey 101. And I don't mean as a negative to Weller at all. I think that it's just like all like the baking spice and stuff that's really strong in this. Mm-hmm. I think, especially after a couple of drinks, to me, like it's just not worth paying that much extra for. But I liked it a lot. So 8.7.
Okay. 8.7 I think is absolutely fair. I want to say that one thing that I'm a firm believer on, full on firm believer in, is that if your first pour is big enough, it doesn't matter what your second pour is. Right? So like if you love Weller 107, have yourself a big old first pour. And that second pour, you could drink bottom of the barrel shit and it's still going to taste good.
Right.
That's just an absolute fact. But I like what you said, Steven, as far as like the Wild Turkey 101, like the baking spices. Yes. Wild Turkey 101 is not in the same category as Weller 107, but you're right that it does have a lot of those same similar characteristics.
I kind of think about because I have a smaller collection right now, and I think I intend to keep who knows, right? I have nothing against a big collection. I'll probably get one eventually, but I kind of like the idea of like trying to keep my collection so big, and as I finish a bottle, like replace it after a certain size. So I kind of think of things in terms of like the tasting notes that I get from them, and kind of having like a little something for everybody, whoever comes over.
Yeah.
Or whatever I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
And
that's smart,
to me, these are kind of, it's just for what it tastes like in the finish, and even sort of around the same proof. I think that it's hits a lot of the same notes for me. So that's why I said that.
Very cool. I'm just gonna go around the horn. So JT, you're next.
Yeah, like a lot of Steven's notes, I'm gonna go 8.5. Yeah, solid 8 rating for me. Really like the 107. But I do like the Weller Full Proof a little bit better.
Yeah.
We already talked about my love of William LaRue, which I can't afford to love. And there's some other things that I like above. So yeah, just that mid 8 is perfect rating for me.
Perfect. Very cool. Ryan?
Well, I'll go right in the middle of these two, 8.6. Cherry vanilla, the caramel, it's great. It's sweeter. I like sweet bourbons. I like weeded bourbons. So yeah, I mean, I was going to say 8.7, but then Steven said 8.7, and I was going to say 8.5, but then JT said 8.5, so
8.6. That's awesome. Folks, just a reminder, our rating system goes from 0.0 to 10.0. Jim Beam White Label is 5.0. Jim Beam White Label is our 5.0 because that is the best-selling bourbon on the market as far as I know. And it's just a good middle-of-the-road bourbon. But for this guy right here, Steven went 8.7, JT went 8.5, Ryan went 8.6. I'm with Steven. It's an 8.7 as far as I'm concerned. It is phenomenal. It is a great bourbon. It is smooth. You can get drunk off of it without even knowing you're starting to get drunk. It's got flavors that if you want to get all highfalutin, you can. If you want to sit there and have some raisins with it and see what pops out, you can. Peanuts, whatever, you can do that. Or you can just sit around with 3 of your buddies getting shitty drunk and just love every single sip you have of it. This is it's excellent. You should be excited when you find a bottle of it for less than $80. Over $80, I don't know.
Sorry, Dan.
No, you're good, Steven.
We don't talk about this that often on the show, but I really feel like saying that I feel like this would be phenomenal with a bunch of different cigars as well.
I think you are correct. I'm not a cigar smoker, but I stopped by Lit Cigar earlier today over in Chesterfield. Great place. Their prices were excellent. Like I didn't have a pour while I was there, but they had some excellent prices. Like really, really good prices per pour. Anyway, you should stop by there, have this with some cigars. Like every flavor that pops out of this is just like so distinct, right? Like you don't have to be Fred Minnick. Is that what his name is?
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have to be Fred Minnick to pick out the cherry or the nutmeg or the caramel. This is as good for a beginning bourbon drinker as it is a Fred Minnick guy, in my opinion.
Another Bourbon Show.
I do want to give an update, by the way. I want to give an update that I did actually send Dustin Diamond a picture of my taint.
Oh.
And there has been no reply whatsoever.
So now I'm concerned maybe it's not his number anymore and he didn't get it.
That's my thought too. Like you would expect at least a what the fuck. Or like
you should start 67. Maybe he's got like, hey, this is Dustin Diamond. Sorry I couldn't get to the phone. I'm killing it.
I'm like weird calling people.
Star 67. And if he answers and you can tell it's him, then you know it's his number.
What is star 67?
It blocks your number. It's unavailable.
Steven, is that true?
I don't know, but I believe it is. I believe I heard that. And
does someone have their phone? Call Dan. My phone's over in the windowsill because I don't have any service. It's Dan's number, star 67 it, and Dan, you can check your phone.
There's probably a way to call somebody's voicemail directly and not have to, because you're just assuming he wouldn't answer a blocked number, basically.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's got a voicemail.
Okay. Well, look, here's the point for the listeners. We're still trying to get, like, we're trying so hard to get Dustin Diamond on this show that I was willing
We're trying so hard. We're sending him unsolicited sexual images at this point.
I mean, it's my taint. That's not sexual.
I mean, it depends on what you're into, I guess. I would consider it sexual.
That's a name. It taint the balls and it taint the ball.
Exactly. If it was my asshole, I'd be like, okay, that's kind of sexual. If it was my ball sack, I'd be like, it's kind of sexual. But
you could church it up and call it your tisn't.
Oh, nice. That's nice. We'll see if we can. I like tisn't.
I feel like if you respond with, "Did you get the picture of my tisn't?" I feel like he may respond to that one.